Hi there, beautiful sacred hearts. This is Monica, an intuitive quantum energy healer. I am back for another weekly love wisdom message for this week. It's about elevating your heart after so many eons of corruption. So let's talk about what corruptions we're talking about. So first of all, we are towards the end of October, and we are really accelerated in this time, as well as the energy is getting so intensified these days. Just want to say thank you for those who are live. Welcome, Suzanne. And just want to share a little bit. Actually, I want to talk a little bit about the quantum energy fields. I was getting that question earlier, and just want to make sure that we understand what I mean by it when I do talk about the quantum, because it all ties into the ascension energy and where we're all heading. And really, the quantum energy field is this unity consciousness where everything is so interconnected energetically, and even at the cell level of our DNA. And we carry so much, not just from this lifetime, but there's stuff from like past lifetimes that we're carrying. And all of this also ties into the topic for this week of this love wisdom message that I want to bring in about the whole corruption. And we are carrying all these layers and patterns and trauma and from these other lifetimes, as well as other patterns that are associated with our ancestrals that we carry through our family lineage, whether that's in this physical form, but there's also family lineage of ancestry through our soul, where we have a soul connection with others as well from past lives too. And so all of that ties into this quantum energy field where everything is just so interconnected. And I like to call it the quantum cell, because the cell itself in the physical human body has other components that scientists haven't yet really identified, and that's also in the DNA as well, or they've been referring to it as junk DNA. And the junk DNA is actually not junk DNA, but they're actually like really higher vibrational areas of this DNA that is waiting to be activated, or it's being activated also with a lot of these light codes and energy codes that are streaming right now into the earth. That's what people are receiving, this energy. But what happens is that when there's so much layer of like trauma and pain from past lifetimes and corruption and all that, is that all of that will start to come to the surface. And at times it could be just so overwhelming because we don't know what's going on. And in order to be able to get more into this fullness of activation, you have to like let go of some of the old layers and old patterns that no longer serve you. It's almost like, I like to use the analogy of, let's say there is this glass and it has mud water, right? It's all muddy. And so then you start to pour it with, say, very clear water, pure water, right? You can think of the pure water as being these light codes of energy. And you start to fill it up in the glass. So what happens is that it's pouring in these pure water into it, and the mud is rising up, but it's overflowing. So what's coming out is this mud that is all just being overflowing out of this glass, right? And then the more that you keep pouring this pure water into it, what happens eventually is that that whole glass turns into this pure water. And so that's where we're really going towards right now. We're becoming more crystalline. We're becoming more bodies of light, holding more light codes in us. But because we've gone through so many eons of human lifetimes that we probably don't even remember like all of them, right? But you have this feeling that you have some memory of it or some remembrance of it by the things that are coming up the things that are being triggered in this lifetime, because things that are being triggered is also another form of things that need to be healed and need to be released. And so when we have, say for instance, gone through like some corruption in a past life, like we witnessed someone else being killed, and that could have been a loved one, or we were the ones being slaughtered and being killed, or being haunted, being persecuted. And this is actually a perfect, energy for what may be coming up, because this is the weekend of Halloween. So everything's about, there's been this whole tainting of the witch, but really the witch energy is a very good healing energy. And there is some shifting happening with that whole viewpoint of, this witch, because if you see some of the media, the witch before, like in Hollywood movies and all, they're always portrayed as these like evil looking women. So I just feel like there is some healing going on with that right now for this weekend, and being the month of October, the last weekend, where the inner witch inside of us is also being healed and being purified in the form that we are embracing it from a different light, embracing it from a more pure, loving light of, that looking at it from an angle of being good, and using your inner magic for the good of others, for the good of yourself, and using that for the healing, right? And I want to talk a little more about that in a video coming up this weekend, maybe on Halloween, on the day that, I'll talk about it on Facebook group. Just come on and just talk more about it. But, when we've gone through so many eons of these lifetimes, now that the veils are becoming thinner, some of us are remembering more of some of these past lifetimes. And there's been all this buried stuff of this violence, this corruption. We may have witnessed betrayal of others, who may have betrayed us, betrayed someone else, and just seeing that is traumatizing. So then that gets recorded, and these quantum cells, the energy interconnection of all the cells and they call it the quantum interconnection, quantum, field itself. All of that's recorded in the cells themselves, that we are still carrying these patterns. And so we are now being asked, because these messages are coming in with this intuitive guidance, that my guides want to remind you about not letting yourself get, dragged down by whatever is coming up right now, some of these old energies of corruption, these older layers, and just not get so focused on that, but just allow yourself the time to be able to release this coming up for you, and being gentle on yourself, taking it easy on yourself, and not being so hard in these changing times of these ascension energies that we are all experiencing, which is why it's feeling so intense right now everywhere. And it just seems to be getting even more intense. And then we're coming towards the end of the year as well, so energies are definitely going to intensify even more, as I'm feeling that in December, when we go through the solstice for that time, it's going to be another major shift, the portal energy that's going to pour in, that's really pushing us and accelerating us at a quantum level at a faster pace, because the earth itself is also shifting into these higher frequency energies of these light codes, and she's also releasing, just like we are releasing ourselves, because she's carrying all this trauma as well, just like we are. And in order to be able to live on the new earth frequency energy, that we're the ones who are staying, are going to be a match to the new earth frequency energy and the new light body energies that we are converting into these crystal beings that we are deserving of in itself. And so you could say that, we are trying to heal a lot of stuff, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not an easy process, could be challenging at times. So just as a reminder to just take the time that you need, the self-care, the retreat if needed from the matrix itself. And the matrix is the three-dimensional aspect of things where things are just so polarized and so duality. And if you ever just need to take a break from that, take a break from it. So some ideas though, and I emphasize the whole thing about going out in nature, because nature really does elevate our hearts and elevates ourselves spiritually to be able to navigate through some of this chaos and this intensity of energy. And also the second big thing is to take deep breaths or doing some form of breath work to really keep yourself stabilized and balanced. And you can combine that with nature and breath work, getting fresh air whenever possible and really breathing in. And it's not just, our normal just breathing, but actually taking deep breaths, really profound, deep breathing work. And so these are the things that, I want to just emphasize about elevating your heart and, overcoming a lot of these like eons of corruption that we have been carrying in our heart. And I do feel that a lot, from the collective, that this is coming up, and that people are just having enough of, seeing, like if they're witnessing other corruption happening in this lifetime, they're saying we just had enough of this. We no longer want to support this energy, because the new energy is all about unity. Consciousness is about working together. It's not about competition with one another. So it's just really seeing how to support one another in different ways, right? And it's not about comparison to someone else, about who's better, who's lesser, because in the unity consciousness, we're all equal in divinity's eyes, and the divine's beings that we already are, the cosmic beings that we are. And so that is, where we're heading, is to really come together. And I want to emphasize this to us as a group, for those, who are watching this, that please, we should be seeing how we can support one another in different ways. And that could be through sending some kind of prayer, that could be sending your love and your light, your sharing your wisdom of the heart, and just really, being there for someone else, and whether that be vibrationally in a spiritual self, or if it resonates for you in a physical way, right? So whatever resonates for you, whatever your heart is calling you to support in different ways, or you're being called into a different role, because as the energies are shifting and we're going into these higher frequencies, our roles may be shifting with that. And what is surfacing out is really our true essence and our true purpose of what we come to serve on this earth, and this higher frequency energy of this earth. So if there's anything that I can assist you with, please feel free to reach out to me, and I would love to connect with you and talk some more about this, because I really have been working a lot with a lot of my clients and initiates on really getting this clarity on their new purpose and their new role, and their, with the new earth energy coming up in this quantum energy field of ascension. And they have also been feeling so enriched in their current relationships as well. So all of this ties in together with where we're all heading. And so I just, want to share that bit with you, and hope this helps with, helping to elevate yourself into a higher frequency energy, even when things may seem chaotic, falling apart. There's always a creative way to navigate through it. And, just do the best you can, because you never know. The universe always has a plan for you, always has the abundance ready for you, and the resources available as needed when we are aligned with that purpose and what we come to do in every way. And so, yeah, so that's, you know, some of the message about it. Please share your comments below and share some other examples of what you've been feeling on some of the different layers that have been coming up for you during this ascension. What kind of corruption you feel, you know, you want to share as an example as well. Any love wisdom you want to share with us as a group. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to connect with you. So look forward to talking to you in the next love wisdom message and video. So bye for now. Sending you all so much love.